Hey guys, Crafty here from Living in Beta, and today we find ourselves once again revisiting an old Unlimited Eddie's trick to see how it stands up in patch 1.31. Today we return to the mighty Ashura crafting method, which we all know and love. Now of course this one has always been a favourite of players because it's not really a glitch or an exploit per se, as it uses what seems to be intended mechanics within the game to get the ultimate benefit. One could argue that that technically is exploiting something, but there's been many patches now with this method being a prominent figure in the Eddie creation techniques, and it's still here to this day, so I'm pretty sure CD Projekt Red wants it to happen. Once again, it's important to mention that of course we've covered this in a previous video, but with the new patch coming out, it brings new techniques and a whole host of new questions to answer, alongside the tweaks that CD Projekt Red have made to the crafting system overall. So we thought it'd be best to revisit this old favourite and iron out things for new and returning players. Now, as always, if there's a specific part you are looking for, timestamps will be in the description, or you can navigate the video timeline using the handy chapters. But for now, enough chatting. Let's make some eddies. Okay, so before we get into how the method works and the nitty gritty of everything, let's talk about how to obtain the schematic itself. Now, it's interesting with the new patch that they've brought out a lot of more dynamic things that happen within the crafting system as a whole. What I mean by that is I've noticed that this Ashura crafting spec actually drops from many a sniper around Night City, depending on your crafting level. Usually, now it used to be that it was in a set place and you would craft it and job done. But now, if your crafting level is at level 18 and you have the ability to craft legendary specs, for example, you'll notice that it will drop on bodies that usually hold either that weapon type or maybe just in a location that has the drop rate. So that's that, and that's very random. But if you want to get it guaranteed, you want to come to the Watson area of Night City. We're looking at the slap bang on this Bellevue Overwalk fast travel point. Of course, there's some around here, but this brings you right next to where you need to go. Now, what you want to do, jump off the edge or walk down the stairs, depends how much of a degenerate you want to be, and come down these stairs here. Now, this is obviously on a character that I've already obtained the crafting spec, so you won't see me picking up in this video, but this is the location. There'll be a either an NCPD alert telling you there's some enemies around this part, or there'll be a little side quest, side job. You just want to jump over here, land on here, and then drop down into here. There'll be enemies here to fight. You can see these geezers are here, but they're not aggroable because I've already cleared this area out. And you want to work your way through here, up into this building, and in this container that you see here, you will find the crafting spec for the Ashura. And that's kind of the location of where it is. Now, like I said, you can obtain this spec. I've picked it up probably 5 times now in this playthrough, obviously post patch 1.31, just from enemies that are holding a sniper rifle. So yeah, that's the location. Let's go and have a look at the perks and the attributes needed. Okay, so the next important thing to really, nail in is we need to have a high level of technical ability, and most importantly we need to have the ability to craft legendary items. Now of course you can use this exploit on weapons that are epic or even rare, but quite simply they're just going to sell for not enough, and you're not really going to get as much bang for your buck when you're trying to buy those crafting materials and get the profit on top, right? And also having a higher tech ability allows you to get the reduced component cost of crafting items. Maybe your skill progression could go higher. These things matter because they're going to make this whole thing even easier going forward. Now at the start of the game you can of course get a max level of 6 technical ability out the box. That's the max amount of points you can put in tech at the start, and then that means you're going to need an extra 12. So you're going to need to be at least level 12 or 13 to be able to unlock the legendary items crafting ability, right? And now when you start the game, of course, before Act 2 starts, just Watson area is open. Now I'm on my 4th playthrough now, and before I went through to the end of Act 1, I completed every side job like this and every NCPD kind of highlight that I could in these areas. Now, of course, side jobs do pop up depending on the level of your street cred. So now I'm at 50 street cred, new things will come up. But as you level your street cred, new side quests will happen. I ended up leaving this area, I think, roughly around level 15 to 16, which meant I was already well on my way of having a high enough tech ability. Now, I'm pretty sure that it's still worth getting into Act 2. And I think you probably still need to get into Act 2, especially to use the area that I'm about to show you, just to get the more bang for your buck in this area. But my advice again is just to make sure that you level up as high as you can before entering Act 2 by completing every side quest possible in Watson. Obviously every other area is closed off at the start of the game. And then you'd pop into Act 2 and the whole world is open and you can crack on. So yeah, 6 points in tech is the obviously ideal start, meaning you only need that extra 12 levels. But of course, if you didn't do that and you're midway through your character, just making sure you've got your tech ability at least 18 is what we need. Now, then let's talk perks. So of course, we're going to need the ability to craft legendary items for the Ashura, meaning it's worth getting the rare and epic as well. And then, like I said, the reduced component cost of crafting items is massive because this is going to make them cheaper to make. Ex nihilo is massive as always, granting that 20% chance to craft an item for free, which we know and love. And then, any of these others don't really matter too much. They're kind of there just as flavor for depending on your character. So really, it's just the legendary, the reduced component, and ex nihilo. But if you don't have the reduced component and ex nihilo, that's fine as well. Okay. So next, we're going to talk location. Now, you remember back in the day, I told you about our location that was in Westbrook, a junk shop vendor over here that buys and sells anything, obviously, closest fast travel point being Cherry Blossom Market, and this one becomes available after you're doing the Disaster Piece quest line. The reason why I showed him off is he sold every type of component, and so we went through, we bought every component that was possible, made a massive amount of components, and then made the gun and rinse and repeat, essentially. Now, shout out to some videos on YouTube who found this other junk vendor here over in the bottom end of Night City in the Badlandsy area, closest fast travel point being the fuel station or regional airport. And the reason for using this guy is he again sells every type of component, but once you spoke to him for the first time, he has less chatter when you speak to him, and he also allows you to skip time 24 hours right next to him, which again is essential for saving time. And in these kind of things, because they get quite monotonous and quite repetitive, sort of the amount of time you can save doing them is the best, right? So essentially what you're going to do, you're going to have the crafting spec, you're going to be at level 18 tech ability, and you're going to make your way over to the vendor. Now, you're going to need a little bit of eddies for this, and essentially, if you did what I said a second ago with regards to starting the game and doing all the side quests, save as much eddies as you can, because the more eddies you can start with, the better it will be. You're essentially going to triple your profits every time you make an Ashura weapon. Now, the scaling is higher on the weapon sell rate depending on your level as well. We went through this in the last video. So if you're level 15 when you just come out of Act 2, you're going to be able to sell the Ashura at about 1,500 eddies. And if you get above level 32, you can see now that we're able to sell the gun itself at 3,400 at level 43. So the higher the level you get, the more you can sell the item for, which is fantastic because the components needed to make it, the 16 rare, 16 epic, and 2 legendary, only comes to around 570 eddies to buy. So you're buying one gun's worth of components for 570, and you're selling it for 3,454. So you can kind of see how you're making mad money for that. So essentially what you'll do is you'll come to this vendor, you'll have an amount of eddies that you've got. Of course, I've done this a few times now, so I've got a lot of eddies, 951k, but I would essentially come in, buy every component that he has in terms of crafting components, and keep doing this over and over again until I run out of the amount of eddies that I've got. Obviously you just stay near the guy, skip 24 hours, talk to him again, and rinse and repeat. And then you would keep doing this until, like I said a second ago, you run out of eddies. And then what you're going to do then is you're going to, because of carry weight, you're going to want to get back in your vehicle and head over to your nearest drop point. Now, obviously you can stay at this guy and sell some guns to him, but he's never going to have a consistent amount of eddies to sell to, right? He's going to have a wide range, and every time you wait 24 hours, he's going to get rid of the eddies that you made, that you gave to him from buying the components. So you could always, before you leave, just quickly sell the guns to him and craft some. But what I like to do is drive over to this drop point, which is still very close. I know it's about 700 meters, but in a vehicle across the flats, it's pretty simple. You'd come across, and essentially the best reason for being over here is drop points, as we know, have 20k eddies guaranteed every 24 hours, which makes it consistent and a perfect way to make our eddies. So what you'll do is you'll pull up, you'll of course go into your crafting menu, and you would make as many Ashuras as possible. Now it's important at this point to note that you can actually do this with any sniper or shotgun, although they don't, make as much eddies. This shotgun here, for example, this sniper here, for example, sells for 3,200, and the components are the same. So you don't have to go for the Ashura if you haven't found it yet, or there's another weapon you like to use. The reason why I said snipers and shotguns is you'll notice here that the snipers, well, actually, I'm just telling a lie right in front of my face. It looks like the snipers are the most expensive in terms of sale price, but at lower levels, at least when it's like an epic version or a rare version, shotguns and snipers sell for more than like a submachine gun or a pistol. So just bear that in mind. But snipers are always the go-to. And then what you'll do essentially is you'll keep crafting the Ashura until you run out of components that you purchased, making 3,454 per sniper right now, and you know how much the components cost, over 560 eddies, right? So you know you're going to make a lot of eddies. You keep making it until you run out of components. I won't bore you with this. And then you would go to the drop point and you would essentially sell as many as you can before the drop point runs out of eddies. Obviously it can't buy any more, and then you would wait 24 hours. Another good thing about this drop point is you can wait 24 hours right here, go back into it, got 20k eddies back again, and you'd continue on your way. So it's very, very simple and very, very easy to use now. And all you would do is then do all that, make all the eddies you can, and then essentially you could go back and drive over and buy more components again. Like I started with 120k eddies. I did it once, I got up to about 500k, did it again, got up to over 1 million. Obviously I've been purchasing things and stuff now, but if I then bought 1 million's worth of components, I could then probably make 2 to 3 mil. It will take a long time, but 2 to 3 mil on crafting Ashuras and selling it, which is super easy and super effective. All you really need is time, and of course the ability to craft legendary items. There's another important thing here as well. Every time you're crafting, you're obviously improving your crafting skill progression here, and as this grows, you can see here reduced crafting cost by 5%. Perks get unlocked, you unlock new crafting specs, and even if you get up to level 20, you gain this skill here, crazy science, which increases the sale price of your items by 10%. So if you can, maybe make use of getting tech to level 20 and get this perk as well, and just continue to make more and more eddies. It's very simple, very effective. Yes, there's some hoops to jump through in terms of having that high tech ability and having the crafting specs, but in general it's a super simple way to make some very, very crazy eddies. So yeah, that's it. Let me know how you guys like it, if there's any other specs out there that you found that really do the same effect, or any other vendors that are just as good as the new one here in the Badlands. I'd love to know, because any ease of use vendors out there is always a great thing to have in your back pocket, depending when you are in Night City. So yeah, that's a refresher. Super simple to do. Let me know in the comments your thoughts and feelings. As always, we thank you for sticking around and watching our videos. We're sorry it is kind of few and far between right now, having a little break, holiday break, more than usual, before we crack on in October with a new Far Cry 6 dropping and a couple of other games as well. So be prepared. Videos are still going to drop, just one a week until we are back and ready to rock and roll at the start of October. But as always, we love all the support you're giving us. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for going over to our social medias and following there. That's picking up a lot as well. That'll be in the description if you wish to hit up those. But yeah, as always, like the video if you liked it, share with your friends if you think they'd make the most of it, subscribe for more content like this one, and remember, don't be a gonk.